I just wanted to jump in here really quickly before we start today's video and let you know that there is an awesome giveaway going on my Instagram account at lex.fitzgerald. The giveaway is for a Sprout Pikler triangle. If you do not know what a Pikler triangle is, it is the coolest thing that I have ever seen. The giveaway started this morning and it will go until January 27th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So if you're watching this video and it's not the 27th yet, definitely head over to lex.fitzgerald where you can enter this giveaway that's taking place with Sprout and 2 other really awesome mamas. If it's past the 27th of January and this giveaway has closed, I'm so sorry, but still head over to my Instagram account because I have a special code for you for 10% off. Ooh. But that is all I wanted to say. Good luck to those who enter, and let's get rolling. Okay. Ooh, it sounded like I farted. That was my foot. Alrighty, guys. Let's talk. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. I've got my coffee here. I'm ready to go. I've got my phone. Let's talk about trying to conceive a baby and all that comes along with that. So I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me any questions that you might have that are TTC related, and you did not disappoint. I have quite a lot of questions. Although I do have to say that there is one question that I notice is being asked over and over and over and over and over again, probably over 100 times. So y'all want to know the answer to that question, and we'll get to that in a second. I'm gonna head onto my phone right here. I'm gonna have my phone in my hands for this video. We'll just start going through the questions and I'll just start answering them for you. So if you guys are unfamiliar with our channel, hi, I am Lex. Nice to meet you. I have a 3-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, and I have a lovely husband named Dan. We are just like a happy little family, just trying to do our best in this world. And yeah, we are going to be trying to expand our family. We are officially trying to conceive our 3rd baby. So I am just documenting this journey, and I figured we would start it off with a Q and A. If you'd like to follow along our journey to baby number 3, please subscribe. We'd love to have you come and hang out. Let's see. Things always get weird in these Q and A's. So starting off from the top. Okay. All right, first one. Y'all are inappropriate. Woo! Tips for not using OPKs. I'm afraid they'll just stress me out. So an OPK is an ovulation prediction kit. So it's just like the test. That's the name of like the ovulation test. Tips for not using them, just don't. So listen, there are many ways to go about trying to conceive a baby. You can literally just have sex and not care about anything else, just have unprotected sex. That is a easy, just natural way of going about trying to have a baby. If you would like, you can then take it a step further and have like an app where you just every month put in your period, when it starts, when it ends, and then eventually the app will be able to kind of estimate when you're going to get your period, as well as, you know, possibly when you're going to ovulate. Now, people ovulate at all different times during their cycle, so it's not really going to be accurate, but if you have a pretty normal, consistent cycle, it might be. You don't have to do ovulation tests, like, you really don't. You just can do those 2 things, or not have an app even and just have sex without using any type of like form of birth control, and you just do that until you get pregnant. If you're worried that something's going to stress you out, just don't do it. It's really as simple as that. What time do you usually check OPKs? So this is what I do when I'm using ovulation tests. I have like a 28-ish day cycle. I'll start around cycle day 10, and I will take an ovulation test every morning, not first morning urine. I will do it around like 10. I will do that for a few days. When I start to get a little bit closer to my ovulation window, my fertile window / when I think I'm gonna ovulate, which is usually like on day 14-ish of my cycle, I will then start to take one at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. and do that every day until I start to see the line get darker. And then when the line gets darker, I know that I'm gradually getting closer to ovulation, so I'll start to take them more often. So and it's only like a day or 2 of doing that, where I'll take one, you know, like 10 a.m., 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. And at some point along those 2 days of me testing those 3 times, I'm able to really figure out when I get my positive And then they say that once you get your positive ovulation test, you then ovulate 12 to 36 hours after that. So it doesn't technically mean that you've ovulated, and by looking at an ovulation test, just because you get a positive doesn't necessarily mean that your body has released an egg. So keep that in mind if you are, you know, coming up on that 1 year of trying and you keep seeing positive ovulation tests but you're not getting pregnant. It could be that you're not actually ovulating even though you're getting those positive tests. So definitely go to your doctor and like let them know that that's what's going on, or not that you're not ovulating, because I'm not a doctor and I don't like know that for certain, but just let them know that like you have been getting positive ovulation tests, but you know that that doesn't necessarily mean that you're ovulating, and you know, you might want to go in and chat with your doctor. Let's say on a Thursday I get a positive ovulation test. I count Friday as my ovulation day, and then Saturday is my 1 DPO, Sunday 2 DPO, Monday 3 DPO, and so forth. A lot of people on here, I was just reading the questions, asked me when I start to test for pregnancy. So I got a positive for Willa's pregnancy and Cooper's pregnancy at 9 DPO. At 8 DPO, I had stark white negative tests. 9 DPO, I got my positives. I'm like this ridiculously obnoxious, crazy person who will literally be 2 DPO and be like, I'll just test. Like, clearly, I'd have to be pregnant with like 19 kids for it to be positive, for me to have HCG in my system. Like, clearly I have no HCG in my system at 2 DPO, but I'm just like a peeing on a stick addict, and I just like have to. It just keeps me like sane. So I ended up, I'm gonna drink my club soda. When do I like officially test and expect to possibly see a line? 9 DPO. What do you think about evap lines, and what are your favorite tests to take? Surprisingly, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. The actual clear blue tests, the real ones, the ones that say clear blue on them, those are my favorite tests. I've always gotten a positive first on those tests before any other test. Everyone used to say that the FRAIR test, like the first response, early response, or early read, or whatever it is, everyone used to always say that those tests were the best, but they're not anymore. It doesn't matter whether it's the curved handle or the flat handle, they're not the best tests anymore, and they're giving a bunch of evap lines now. Evap lines just really suck because it either scares you because you didn't want to be pregnant, and then all of a sudden now you're seeing a line on a pregnancy test and you just like are panicking, or you have prayed and prayed and prayed and just wanted to see that line on that pregnancy test for, you know, however long, and then all of a sudden you do, and it gives you like the worst false hope in the entire world. It just like kills you inside. It like takes a piece of you when you get an evap line. So they just really suck, and it's really upsetting that with today's technology that we can't find a more efficient way, I guess taking a blood test is, but that we can't find a more efficient way to actually determining pregnancy at home. Okay, #1 question asked over and over and over again. People want to know about sex, all right? I'm here to talk to you about it. People want to know, when do we have sex? When we are trying for a baby. And then there's second question that I saw a lot was, how do you keep it from feeling like a chore? So there's like multiple ways that you can go about doing this. Now, it really depends on like what's best for you and your significant other. I'm trying to figure out like what I'm trying to say. You know when like a product comes out and they only make a certain amount of it, and that just makes everyone want it even more? Like, you really don't want like that limited edition scent of Tubby Todd, but like because there's only, you know, X amount of bottles, you have to have it. Am I just the only one? No? I'm like a little addicted to Tubby Todd scents. I forgot like the actual terminology for that, but you're basically creating like a want in the market. Let's bring this idea over to intercourse. Do you guys get where I'm going with this? Hypothetically speaking, this is actually not what Dan and I do, and if we have done it, it's just by accident because life's busy. But if you wait until your fertile window and you kind of just like only have sex during that window, you guys get excited, do you, like have fun, go crazy. And you know, you're taking that act that you need to have a baby, and you're like putting it in its like best chance of creating a baby. Does that make sense? I do not sound like a medical professional right now. I mean, I'm not, so that's a good thing, but don't come here if you want big words. So basically what I'm just trying to say is have sex during your fertile window and don't have sex any other time, and then you'll see how excited you guys are to have sex during that window. So less is more. If you are concerned about it becoming a chore, that probably means that you're having sex more often than you normally would. And then I think that's a really good suggestion to maybe just like not have sex as often beforehand or after, and to just have sex more often during your fertile window. It's never felt like a chore for Dan and I. It's really funny that I'm even gonna say this, especially with knowing that family's watching. We kind of see it like very strangely as like a game, and we're very competitive. So this is probably why we've had great success getting pregnant. Like, this needs to happen. We gotta exercise. Okay, so let's get strategic. So doctors will tell you to either have sex every day, or they'll tell you to have sex every other day. Some people believe that having sex every day doesn't affect sperm count or anything like that, and some doctors believe that having sex every day is too much and it affects sperm count, and you're actually like limiting your chances rather than like giving you a better chance. Like, if you guys want to have sex 9 days straight, like, power to you. I'm just like, like, it could honestly be the best sex ever, and there will still be a few days in those 9 days where I'm like, I just want to sleep. What Dan and I do is we'll do every other day, and we try to make one of those days fall onto our ovulation window, and then we'll actually usually have sex the day after as well. So it'll be like every other day up until our ovulation day, not the day I get the ovulation test, but the day that I am like ovulating, and we will have sex that day, and then we will have sex the day after. So in our my fertile window, we probably have sex maybe like 4 times in total, I would say. And that just seems to work. I mean, we gotta be doing something right, because I honestly think that I've gotten pregnant every single cycle that we've tried. I've just had 2 chemical pregnancies and a miscarriage as well. I really think, now looking back on it, that I had a chemical pregnancy the first cycle with Cooper, and then I got pregnant the following cycle. The first cycle that we tried for another baby after Cooper, that's when I had my miscarriage. Then the following cycle after that, when my cycle came back, I got pregnant with Willa. And then this past time that I really think that I was pregnant, I think that I had another chemical pregnancy. But we don't try to force it either, because like at the end of the day, why are you forcing it? You know, the deed has to be done to have a baby. But if you're not willing to have sex, then that's okay. You just, you know, go next month or the month after, you know. This is between you and your significant other, and it's your family, and you guys are in control of it. If you need to take a month off and to have a break, then just take a month off and have a break. It's not gonna mean anything. It's 28 days, you know, or 30 days or whatever. So just take the break. What happens if it's time and you're not in the mood? Yeah, don't have sex. What is your #1 tip while TTC is to not force it, and to try to have as much fun with it as you can, because when you start to get super stressed, I mean, I just personally think that stress plays a huge factor in fertility. I do. And I think that that's why there's more and more people who are having trouble conceiving, is because our society is just so stressful nowadays, especially for women, just like trying to, you know, be equal in all aspects of life, and just they're trying to, you know, have careers, and there's just so much expected from women. I just think that it just plays a toll with our bodies. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but how many times I've literally stressed my period late. Like, my period's been late because I've just been so stressed. So, I mean, it has to play a role in fertility. So I say just go into it just trying to, like, just shake it out, you know, relax, and to just see it as an exciting, fun time, and know that your chances, you're not going to get pregnant right away. You have at least 3 to 4 months before you even going to get pregnant. So just go into it not expecting much and just having a good time. You're making a baby with your significant other that you love. It's exciting, it's fun. You don't have to worry about getting pregnant accidentally, because that's what you're trying to do. So just have fun and enjoy it. That's my #1 tip. Forget everything else. Forget ovulation tests, forget your fertile window, forget all of those crazy things. Just like enjoy it and have a good time. Do I get sick in my first trimester? I haven't, actually. How do you maintain the excitement after getting a negative test? It's a bummer. It's really upsetting, but you just kind of move on. You're not guaranteed to have, you know what I would have to say? The best way to maintain excitement is to not get too overly excited from the get-go. Just go into it knowing that like chances are you're not going to see a positive test for a while, and then you're not really like let down. You're kind of just like, okay, on to the next cycle. Okay, on to the next cycle. I would say that's probably your best bet of not like getting really let down every single cycle. But then again, like, to be honest and to be truthful with you guys, do I really get the right to say any of that? Because I've been pregnant every time by the second cycle. So, I mean, it's kind of a little disrespectful of me to sit here and to be like, oh yeah, like just try not to get too upset about it. So I apologize, but I think that's how I would try to go about it if that situation presented itself to me. Because I think in my mind I'd be like, well, what other choice do I have? I don't get to, there's nothing I can do more right now than I am doing. So if I can just like try to keep my mindset positive and optimistic, then I think that's the best for like my mental health. So that's kind of how I would go about doing it. But yes, please just keep in mind that I have gotten pregnant by the second cycle every time. So didn't mean to offend anyone or upset anyone if you were like, well, it's not fair for you to get to sit here and say that. So my bad. Am I temping? No, temping is when you, every morning you take like I think it's called the basal body temperature. You take a thermometer meant to go into your lady bits, and you take your like internal like body temperature that way, and then you chart it, and then I think you'll see some sort of fluctuation in your body temperature, and that's when you know that you've ovulated. And I think that's actually the only way, without like actual testing in like a doctor's office, where you can find out whether you've ovulated or not. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that that actually does indicate ovulation, whereas an ovulation test doesn't. It just indicates like that you have an increased amount of lutein hormone. I'm like pulling weird words out of everywhere today. Oh, I got this question a lot. Do you think time of conception and or baby dancing has anything to do with the gender? So, Dan and I actually believe in this. Even though we were trying for a boy with Willa and we ended up getting a girl, so basically it like completely just flopped in our faces, we do actually think that boy sperm is fast and girl sperm is slow, and if you have sex right when you ovulate, you have a higher chance of having a boy. No, I really think there's like no scientific evidence that backs this, but for some reason I just like read that one day and I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And then like other people were like chiming in on a forum saying like, yeah, we tried it and it was right and it was accurate. And then ever since then I was like, this is awesome. And then we tried it with Cooper and we had a boy and we were like, it works. So yeah, I mean, do we personally think that it works? Yes. I mean, if I had to like bet my life on it, no. But yeah, it's just like an interesting thing to look at. Yeah, I have to see if there's like actual scientific evidence behind that. Interesting. Okay, you mentioned using Precede. When do you use it and how often? I haven't talked about Precede actually in a long time. With Cooper and Willa, we use Precede. Now, Precede is a type of lubricant that, really funny stuff. You have to be efficient when you use it. We learned that the hard way. So basically what it does is it's very, very slippery, like super duper slippery lube. But then out of nowhere, it gets really, really sticky. Basically what it does is gives the little swimmies a like nice efficient hoist up to like your cervix, and then it kind of just like keeps them there, and then they have a better chance of like staying up there and like all up in it We have a 100% success rate with Precede. But yeah, it's just really some interesting stuff, makes for some good laughs, I have to say. If you and your significant other have like a funny relationship, you guys will totally get a kick out of it. What do you do to prepare your body for pregnancy? So I actually made an entire video on this. I'll try to link it in the iCards. Basically what I do is I reduce the amount of caffeine that I drink. I drink a lot more water than I normally do. Make sure that I'm like physically active and getting exercise. I start taking prenatal vitamins and DHA, and that's what I do to prepare for pregnancy. Someone said, what CD do you usually ovulate on? I usually ovulate on cycle day 14. Do I tell Dan when I'm ovulating? More or less, yeah. Just because, like I said before, it's a game to us and we're like, yeah, let's win. So there's a few more questions. One of them is, how do we prepare financially? Basically, if you're struggling right now financially, it might not be the best idea to have a baby. Although I am a firm believer that like when you have to make something work, you make it work. And I would hate for someone to feel like they cannot have children and then miss because of finances, and then they miss out on being a mom or a dad because they were so nervous. You also never feel quite ready. So you kind of have to understand that too, that like you're probably never gonna feel like fully ready. So sometimes you kind of just have to like take the jump. But also you really should be not financially comfortable, but you really should be okay and have some wiggle room in your finances, because babies are expensive. There are certain things that you do need to buy, and you do have to be prepared for those things. You know, babies don't just stop being expensive after you're done buying all the things you need before the baby arrives. Like, we're now getting into the territory, like we just paid a ton of money for Cooper's preschool, like a ton of money on his preschool. And then if he's gonna wanna do camps, you know, every child that you have, how do I tell Cooper that he can go to like a hockey summer camp, and then I tell Willa that she can't do ballet, you know, or horse riding or things like that? You know, how do I look at my child and be like, well, no, we can afford to do that for him, but we can't afford that to do for you, you know, for you. And then how do I tell all of them, like, no, we can't afford to do any of these sports, sorry, like you can't do any hobbies. So you have to like keep in mind that they don't just stop being expensive. Once you have everything on your baby registry, that's not the end of it, that's only the beginning. So that's my advice. You're never gonna feel quite ready, and I would hate for you to miss the opportunity to experience this because it's incredible. And as humans, we tend to make it work if we need to. So take that for however you want. Do you have a specific due date time frame that you would want this baby to be born during? So we'll end it with that question. We do. If I get pregnant this next cycle, the baby will be a like mid to end October baby. If we get pregnant the following cycle, I think the baby will be, due date will be like November 16th. And then if we get pregnant the following cycle, the baby will be, I think, somewhere around mid-December, mid to early December. I think one person asked it, but I can't find the question. They said, they asked me if I wanted a boy or a girl, and I can wholeheartedly say, I do not care. It would be so cute and so amazing to have another little boy and to like do the boy thing again, you know, like I've just had all this like girl stuff and girly this and that, and then to just like all of a sudden have like a little boy again would be so amazing. But then like to have another Willa, of course, I would love to have, can you imagine 2 little girls with their big brother? Oh my goodness. Can you imagine Willa with another little girl having a sister? And so now I just don't care. Like, we have 2 names for both. Beautiful names, absolutely love them. We actually just figured out the boy's middle name last night. We are so ready to go with names. I just can't believe that like we're soon gonna have a baby like attached to one of those names. But anyway, this video is so long already. I'm so sorry. I hope you guys found it somewhat interesting or informative. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, if you're new to our channel, please come and hang out with us because we are officially trying for baby number 3, and it's going to be a super exciting, fun journey, and I would love to share it with you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay.